Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. And through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and also a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this, this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is to try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades. We do take into account losses as well. So for further details about joining us on this journey, and as well as getting access to an exclusive in-depth strategy video, details and information are available in the description below. In the previous video we did an important update for ticker symbol MMTLP, the Series A preferred share for previous holders of Torchlight Energy, ticker symbol TRCH. And in the previous video we looked at questions, comments, and I also shared some personal opinions, so please refer back to the previous video for details of that. Today's video is a follow-up of that, and in today's video I'm going to be focusing on comments and questions, and I'm also going to be looking at the outlook and opinion both from a bull point of view and also from a bear point of view, and I'm also going to be sharing with you some of the theories and some of the opinions of people from the comments, so as well as obviously my own personal opinions and other analyst opinions. I think it's also great to have a perspective and insight from some of the other investors. So I'm going to start by first of all giving a shout out to Bradley Tate, and he's Bradley, I think I'm going to put him on the side of the bulls, so he's given a positive perspective on the situation. So let's have a quick summary of what he stated here, and on the screen what Bradley is saying is, brothers and sisters, let me tell you something no one has mentioned so far. Does anyone have genuine inside information? So the answer is no. So he's going to give us 3 hints here. The 3 largest shareholders have all said they are pleased with the progress. So we're looking at Masterson, McKay, Berda, and they hold a lion's share of Torch shares. So that is correct. This tells everything you need to know to give you confidence. George, as far as I'm aware, doesn't hold ticker symbol MMTLP because he was not from the Torch side of the business. And what he's also saying here in terms of what Bradley is saying, he said, rest assured of the final result, they demand maximum value in capital letters. He feels certain that a final hurdle is reached. Regards, okay from the SEC. The shares will spin out into oil co immediately, and oil has already been proven. So I do agree with that point. I do believe that oil is proven, and in terms of the land, I also believe that obviously the company has asset rights to those assets, although the land is owned by the university. So unproven reserves have become proven reserves. It would not surprise me that he has several competing and generous bids from oil majors for our oil co share. So this is one thing that I think I'm personally a little bit more skeptical about. However, nothing would please me more than to be proven wrong. So again, Bradley, if you're right about that, then I will be happy to buy you a drink on that. Friends, do not be discouraged. The whole thing could be over and done with by August. So again, I'm not sure whether everybody will be pleased with an outcome for August, but that's a perspective there from Bradley. The next shout out I'm going to give is to MVP Chair. I'm going to share with you his perspective here and what he said here. Pricing oil in the ground at $7 makes the Oro Grande area worth $22 billion. So obviously we know the price of oil is currently close to $120. So we're pricing it here at $7. Then obviously with the amount of barrels in there, then obviously we have a huge amount here of $22 billion. So obviously the $7 a barrel is a conservative price, and it's not overly overpriced, I don't think. So drilling horizontal wells to get production and a higher sales price, no fire sales. So he's basically saying it's not worth selling this very, very quickly. Huge find and huge purchase, finally close to a sale. Secret and quiet tells you buyers don't want publicity till they say so. So his perspective here is there is most likely some secret talks going on. Nobody knows about this, and once it happens we will all be pleasantly surprised. So again, I think almost every single investor is hoping that MVP Chair is correct about this, and nothing would please us more. However, in terms of the $7 price there, I would certainly hope with the price of oil increasing to well over $120 a barrel, I'm sure we can definitely get much higher than $7. So that's the figure I do disagree with. And the next perspective I'm going to share with you here is a theory from Paul MacArthur. Again, I think this is quite bullish, and Paul has stated here that he's carried out his own research, and in his research, Torch and MMAT, Metamaterials team, have been planning this for years. Well, it will be interesting if they've been planning, but the one thing I'd be surprised about them planning is the delays. That's the one thing I don't think they've been planning. However, what he's also said is hedge fund people, they get inside information faster than retail. That's definitely true. Lots of things that George has designed to crush the short. So again, he has strong faith in George. I think a lot of investors have lost faith in George, but not Paul. Torch short ratio was nearly 50%, 2 to ratio 1. The reverse split initiated before the merger with MMAT. So again, that was something that I think did disappoint a lot of investors, and it was a very last minute thing. So again, disappointing there, I think, from the majority, but obviously what's happened has happened. Basically, oil call comes into MMTLP no longer. They're calling all the Torch shorts will occur first short squeeze. So again, he's a strong believer in still torching the shorts. And I think many investors now think, obviously, they are losing faith. But again, let's continue with Paul's insight into this. Number 2, he said here, MMTLP dividend will occur second mega squeeze. So he's predicting a mega squeeze. Keep in mind that GlucoWise is on the way. So again, I do agree about the bullishness about GlucoWise, and I think that is absolutely got tremendous potential for the long term. In terms of what he's also said, is going to be utilizing a short squeeze funding to expand those key patents to expand MMAT first, and that's why he's very bullish on MMAT. So obviously I'm also bullish on MMAT in the long term. Revenue right now is growing, but it's certainly not at the amount that we expect from in terms of to be reflected higher in the share price. So this has got to continue on a much more cumulative way for us to get positive returns. And the next shout out here is to Sawtooth, who in the previous video comments, he's also said here, surprised you didn't mention the possibility of a buyout of the newly private oil co by one of the big, so I'm presuming he's referring to companies like Shell. Short of a cash payment to MMTLP shareholders, this would be far better than ending up on the OTC. So 100% agree, where it would be vulnerable to short attacks that we've seen with MMAT. And I think what Sawtooth is saying here is obviously the most likely and preferred outcome that we would all prefer. Again, a significant big buyer for the whole of Oilco, transfer of assets to the big company, and then payment to us in terms of a dividend, hopefully in the form of cash. So again, Sawtooth, if you are right on this, remind me to buy you a drink. The next shout out I'm going to give is to Jay Yoon, and I think he's also given a bullish perspective on this. So let's have a look at what his insight and what his approach to the situation is. So what Jay is saying here is one thing is for sure, and that is John Berder wants more than $3 per share for MMTLP, and George is also going to make sure not to shoot himself in the foot by announcing anything too early. So again, that's something that we all certainly hope is true. They would have to be at bare minimum trying to artificially squeeze the price as much as legally possible without breaking any SEC rules. So again, that is certainly something that is very important. They cannot be seen to be breaking any SEC rules, because that would be put them into serious legal difficulties. They have to be at the bare minimum to artificially squeeze the price as much without breaking these rules, and preparing the lands right now. When the opportunity comes, they will strike if they haven't. Don't forget what Warren Buffett has said, obviously transferring wealth from the impatient to the impatient. Yes, we all know about that. If it takes years for a multiple return, is it not worth it? Question mark. So again, we know about the S&P returns, but basically what he's saying here at the end is don't hang yourself when you find out that the dividend turned out to be a year from now because you couldn't wait. So I think he's referring here to people who may have sold MMTLP. So my position on MMTLP and certainly what the company has said is the intention was for this not to be tradable. And one of my previous videos, I have stated that in the future or at some point in time, we do need to know who was behind MMTLP and how it is tradable on the OTC, because that's certainly something that was not expected as well. So again, an interesting perspective here from Jay. The next shout out I'm going to give is to Hero 3616, but this time Hero 3616 is giving his perspective, and this is from a bear point of view. So let's have a look at the opinion here from a bear, and what he said here is dividend is probably going to be in the form of worthless OTC shares of Oilco. If there is any cash dividend, it won't be anywhere near 20 cents. Legally, they don't have to pay out anything according to my research. So my perspective and opinion on that is I don't agree with the second sentence. I think legally they do have to give us best value, and realistically and factually I would say the land is not worth zero, and I think anybody who argues the value is zero, certainly obviously I would be prepared to challenge that. So I believe everybody who is holders of MMTLP will get something more than what Hero 3616 is saying. I certainly don't agree with this 20 cents figure as well. Obviously once we get official announcement, then we'll be able to tell, but legally the assets for the oil and gas belong to holders of MMTLP. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not aware that George owns any MMTLP, so he's not an owner of the assets. John Berder is certainly one of them. So legally they have a duty to give us best value. Legally they have a duty to get them try their best for hopefully for a, maximum return, be that a sale, be that a spin out. So I do not agree that they have to give us zero. So if you do have any research, let's have a look at that. But no, we are not entitled to zero. The next angle I'm going to share with you is from Alan Courtson, and what Alan is focusing on is the actual tax perspective on this. So let's have a look at what he said here. He says basically George said in March that we will be informed about news in terms of a spin out process. We were informed when the audit was finished. We are obviously waiting from the SEC to look at the results, and he was also, according to Berder, a new ex-dividend date is to be announced. After that, then we're going to get the Oilco share, and that should be something that is going to replace the preferred share pro rata. So because oil and gas is not proven in the sense of the industry that this is not a tax event. So I think what Alan is referring to here in terms of this being a non-tax event is that the actual physical extraction of oil into a barrel and taken out of the land from a retail point of view has not happened. Then some production is necessary to prove oil and gas. New Oilco may be sold for cash or better for tax reasons by a stock swap, and a good sale requires time. So again, definitely agree with the point of view of tax, that this should be a tax-free event. So obviously in terms of a good sale requires time, I also agree with that. What I disagree with is the initial time frames laid out by George. I think he should have understood the process, and if he said at the beginning this is going to take a year, very clearly and very openly, then nobody would have had any complaints. But for the reason I think people are not happy with the process is because of the delays, and then the excuses, and then the broken promises. And final thing I'd like to say on the whole matter is we are very, very close in terms of this process to being 1 year, June 2022. So a request to the management, if we can have some form of communication or updates. I think most investors would certainly welcome that. And finally, for everybody watching, if you would like to join us in our Discord, and then obviously today is the day where we release our weekly watch list. You'll see on the screen here that this was made available at 12:40 UK time today. So if you'd like to get a copy of this, you can certainly join our Discord. Details are available in the description below, and that will also allow you to take part in live trading discussions as well, and also ask questions. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.